Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first in a series of short videos that I am putting together on teaching in times of disruption. This is a series of videos that I'm calling the new normal, as we all kind of try and get used to what does it look like to teach when we are practicing social distance and dealing with this very abnormal new normal that we're all navigating. If you don't already know me, my name is Tony Sindelar. I'm the instructional designer and teaching consultant at the Mass General Hospital Institute of Health Professions. I spend a lot of time helping faculty thinking about their teaching and how to get the results they want in the classroom and online. I'm releasing this first episode on March 16th. This episode is titled Day One because this is, for many of us, the first day of switching our didactic content to virtual instruction. And I just wanted to take a few moments to record this video and share some thoughts and advice for all the faculty out there who are kind of struggling and dealing with this. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're an IHP instructor dealing with this new challenge. Maybe you've worked with me one-on-one or attended some of my workshops or worked with my colleague Joyce. But the big thing I want you to know is, these are challenging times that we're in, but there are people out there who are trying to figure out the best way to help you out and get those things figured out. I am just one of them, and perhaps I'll mention others along the way. So where to start? That's what a lot of people came up to me in the middle and end of last week and are just like, I don't know where to start. And this is a strange times that we're operating in. I've been an instructional designer for a good number of years now, and I've worked with a lot of people to design online courses. And what we're dealing with now is something new. There is not a roadmap for flipping a switch and turning all of our instruction into online teaching with very little notice. This is something that thousands of faculty across the country are trying to figure out, and millions of students are being impacted by. And there's a lot of people out there just trying to do what they can to get through this. And at the end of the day, we care about the student experience. We care about their learning. We're trying to do the best we can to make that as high quality as we can, given the constraints that we're now working on. So I just have to say it. This is gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard because it's none of us have done anything quite like this before. I don't think. If you have, please let me know. Find out what the secrets are. And I just think it's important to take a moment and acknowledge this is not going to be easy, but we do have a lot of things going for us. We have resources. We have people that can help you, and we gotta get through this, right? Because that's really there's not another option, right? The only way out is through. Winston Churchill has a famous quote about where you should and shouldn't stop to ask for directions, but we're not doing that. We got to get through this. We're all gonna have to learn a lot about some new technologies that maybe, or at least new ways of using technology that might be somewhat new to us. Certainly, ways of using those technology in teaching, and thinking about how we're going to support our students who are dealing with a set of challenges that are very new to them and are impacting their lives dramatically. So, what does this all look like? I've said a lot about how hard this is going to be. I should say a little bit about where I think you should start. First off, if you haven't been recently to the IHP coronavirus website, that would be a good site to bookmark just because it has and will continue to link to more and more resources that will be useful to all of us as we navigate that. So that's www.mghihp.edu/coronavirus. And check that out there. There's already content up there that myself and my colleagues and my partners in IT have been putting together to help you out with that kind of thing. So one of the things on there is, I have a preparation checklist. Some people know, I was a Boy Scout as a teenager, and the Boy Scout motto, "Be prepared." It's a pretty good motto, but this is an event that I don't think anyone was completely prepared for. I don't know. I was not prepared to do some of the things we were doing so quickly and so dramatically. So be prepared is good advice, but what do you do when you can't be prepared? Well, as a teenager, I was also given a book, a science fiction book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the motto in there is "Don't panic," which is also pretty good advice. And is all the pithy advice that I was given as a 14-year-old the stuff that you're going to hear about in this? No, but a lot of it. So let's take a moment and just think about how you're going to prepare for this. At this point, the IHP is encouraging faculty and staff to work remotely, and I think you want to be prepared to have remote access to all of the needed files that you might have. And just in case, assume that there may be a day where you get up intending to be able to go to the office and can't. And so it's good to have electronic remote access to all your files. So whether that is Dropbox or Share Drive or somewhere else, setting it up on your H drive and VPNing into your machine, do take the steps needed so that there's not important things you need that live on a computer that you can't get to easily. And especially if you have, I don't know, multiple devices or things in the clinic or things in your office on campus or things at home, like set it up so that you can get to the stuff that you're going to need to get to, kind of regardless of where you are located physically. So there's a lot of information on the coronavirus website that I mentioned above, and specifically about teaching online. So I encourage you to check that out and start thinking about how you're going to move your course activities online. The next big thing, again, there's people out here waiting to help you. Instructional designers are standing by, instructional technologists are standing by, librarians are out there, and many other IHP staff are waiting to help you out. Just because you can't get to us in person doesn't mean we're not ready to help you out over the phone, via Zoom, and all these other things. The most important last thing in my preparation checklist is reach out to your students sooner rather than later. Maybe you already have given some initial thoughts to that, but now is a time to really get in touch with them and communicate with them your plan or your plan for having a plan, just so that they know that you're out there and you're thinking of them, and so that you can remove as much uncertainty as possible. I think that's part of the really challenging and really stressful element of what we're all living with right now, is the amount of uncertainty. And there are things you cannot control right now as the instructor, but you can try and remove as much uncertainty as you can. And I realize that is a bit of an uphill slog right now, but try and remove what uncertainty you can for your students to the degree that you have control over that. So let's talk a little bit about this whole getting started with moving your course materials online. 4 steps I'm going to suggest. Step 1, open up that syllabus, look at your materials in the learning management system in D2L, and this is the time where it's really you have to kind of triage your planned materials and activity and consider what is that must know, has to happen. What is that like important to know, like I would like it, but it's not as important as that must know, and what is that nice to know? Because you're going to have to make some hard decisions down the line, and that nice to know and some of that important to know it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. And that's hard. Some people will tell me like everything's important, and like I know everything is important, but some things are more important than others. And figuring out what is more important than others is going to make a big deal for you and your students' success in these next few weeks. So you've looked at your materials. The next thing, you've got categories: must know, important to know, nice to know. The next thing is to start thinking about what activities and materials need to happen in a synchronous interaction. So same time, not the same place. And so that will usually be some kind of video conference via the tool we have at the school is Zoom. Activities or instruction that needs to happen with you and the students at a computer at the same time, connecting together synchronously. That's going to be one category. The other category is what materials, activities can happen asynchronously. So what is stuff that you don't need to be there interacting with them in real time to happen? And that may be a new challenge for some of you who have not experienced as much online teaching as others, but there's a lot of potential for materials to be moved asynchronously. It can require some careful thought and planning. One of the big challenges here with all of this is we're kind of, it is on us to come up with some creative solutions, to use our imagination to solve some challenging teaching problems that we were not prepared for. And you know what? It's really hard to be creative and imaginative when you're under a lot of stress, which we all are, but you got to try and do what you can. And this is a place where maybe an instructional designer could help you out and talk through, what could be done via a Zoom call where you need to be there in the virtual room with them, one-on-one or one-to-many, and what are things that they could be doing on their own asynchronously, and then just reporting back what they accomplished or handing in things or checking in things. You might also think about what are things that perhaps they could be working on synchronously in a group, but you don't need to be there for. And so one of the things about asynchronous is asynchronous offers up a lot of flexibility for students in terms of when they can accomplish that task. And flexibility is a big deal right now with what everyone's dealing with. So those are the big kind of ways I want you thinking about your materials and your activities. That must know, important to know, nice to know, and then what of those three categories, what's going to work asynchronously and what's going to work synchronously. You're going to have to reprioritize the course based on those decisions, and then figure out, how are students going to meet those course goals, and what are the kind of most essential elements of your course. What are the things that can't get in the way, what can't be given up, and really make sure that those are the things that we focus on and preserve the most. And the thing that's hard for some people, if you've taught a course for a while, you can be, very built into like, well, this is the way I've done it, and I've built it up. And this is the time where you got to think about, but like, what really matters? Not what have I been doing for the last 3 years and I like it, but like, what are the things that are the most important for my students to be able to get the experience and the preparation they need from this course. So, fourth step is starting to figure out what that plan is going to look like. So you may need to start moving deadlines around in D2L for quizzes and assignments, discussions. There may be activities that you had planned that are going away. And there may be, ultimately, you're going to want to figure out what that plan is and communicate it to your students as timely as possible. I would say the big thing to think about, if you have not already started exploring the support materials on the website, now is the time to get familiar with Zoom. You probably use Zoom to attend other people's meetings, but maybe you have not used Zoom to host a group of 20 or 30 or 70 or 90 students. And getting familiar with how Zoom works is going to be important, whether you're doing that kind of on your own using the support materials or getting help from IT. But that's probably going to be a big tool that we're all going to be leaning on pretty heavily, that, even if we've used it, we've never had to rely on it so much before. There may also be additional tools that you're going to be using in the learning management system in D2L that you'll be maybe using in new ways or using more so than you used before, and getting a sense of that can be helpful. On the website, there's kind of, I present a table of common activities, and then what's the tool that you might use to complete those activities in a new online environment. For some, the answer is Zoom, and some the answer is a specific feature in D2L. So I wanted this video not to be too long, so I think I should cut things off here. I just want to say again, people are out here ready to help you. Don't be alone in this. These are hard times, and we're going to try and do what we can to get everybody through this together, and to get the students where they need to be. Or at least as far along as we can get them possibly to where they need to be, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. It's the students, and we're going to be working really hard and dealing with a lot of stress, and we're doing it for the students. So I've been Tony Sindelar. You can always reach out to me. My email address is asindelar, ASINDELAR, at mghihp.edu. I welcome your questions, comments, requests to chat one-on-one. Let me know how I can help. Take care.